MTN SME Hub. Link to growth. Link to success. Link to the ultimate resource for business advice and insights.
Welcome to the Big Small Business Show, the show for all our wonderful entrepreneurs out there changing the world, changing the future of their families, doing some wonderful stuff. And as you know, it's very hard for entrepreneurs to find markets. And if you are one of those entrepreneurs, you're going to want to watch today's show, because today we've got Caroline Wyly. She is the CEO of Twine Connect. And that's what she does. She connects people and businesses to businesses. Let's take a look.
So my name is Caroline Wyly. I am the CEO and founder of Twine Connect. And we are a sales enablement company, which encompasses many, many aspects of the sales cycle. But ultimately what we do is we connect, enable, and grow businesses. So we're about connecting people with the right people and making sure that our clients' businesses grow. So I come from a sales background. I've been in business development for 37 years. So it's in my blood. I love it, and it's what I do, and do it with a passion. And my business has been around for about 7 years now. And it started off with people wanting me to connect them with people. So they came to me as business owners and said, Caroline, can you try and connect me to somebody? I'm going to a show in Vegas and I want to land, and when I land, have some really good quality meetings. And that's what I did. And it took off, and people used me a lot to do that. And then it evolved from there, where I started becoming the voice of the executive, doing their online persona, doing their content for them, and the business has grown from them. That's where it really started. So the way it's evolved is I've become involved in my clients' companies' marketing initiatives as well. So what sales enablement does is it's the olive branch between sales and marketing, ultimately, so that you're developing marketing content and marketing campaigns for the purpose of getting the sales. So it's marketing for the sake of growth. My company consists of myself, and I've got 3 full-time staff, and then I use 5 or 6 freelancers to do things like design, copywriting, website development, that sort of thing, which is more specialized. But yeah, I've generally got about 5 freelancers that work for me in a full-time capacity, but they don't work for Twine. My biggest challenge is the control and letting go, and finding the right people for the job, because it's got to be people who are business-oriented, they've got a business mind, and they can speak comfortably with the C-suite and have intelligent conversations. So yeah, that's probably my biggest challenge. So it's an ongoing problem where I'm always getting called to check something or vet something or do something, or getting asked to give input on a piece, or who we should be talking to, etc. So that is very distracting for my day-to-day life, where I think, okay, today I'm going to be doing this, and then of course I get sidetracked. So yeah, I think that for me is very distracting. The question that I have for Allon is, how do I structure my time into manageable segments so that I can actually ensure that growth happens, and that I've got a growth mindset for the business, and that my time is allocated to the right areas in the business for growth.
Welcome to the Big Small Business Show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So give us an example of something strategic you work on in your business. When you say you want to work on something strategic, what give me an example of what that means to you.
So for me, the bottom line is always about growth for business. and how we're going to achieve that growth. So generally, one of the strategic projects I'm working on at the moment is I'm looking at the sales team within the business and reinventing them and retraining them and making sure that they're skilled for the market that we're trying to address and grow. So that's one of the more strategic projects that I'm involved in. But there's a lot to that. There's a lot of sales enablement, actually training up the salespeople as solution salespeople, for example. They might be selling nuts and bolts, and we're trying to sell solutions. So that's another whole mindset. It might also include shifting the sales team and restructuring the team, or hiring in the right people for that growth that we're trying to achieve. So for me, when I talk about strategic business, that's the kind of sweet spot for me, and where I really love getting involved and doing work within the business.
But you find yourself now working in the business and being part of the value that the business provides.
Yeah.
So just let's take it at a Twine Connect level. If you had to, at the highest level, define what Twine Connect does for its market, the value it provides, how would you describe that?
At a high level, it's what we do is connect, enable, and engage. And I think those three words are quite compelling.
Okay.
On the other hand, we connect, engage, and grow. So it's the first part is the connecting.
Right.
Connecting people to people, but the right people to the right people. So it's connecting with the decision makers for my clients, with other decision makers. And it's highly, highly targeted. So they literally will say to me, I want to speak to the CEO in this vertical market, and this is what we want to be having a conversation about. So that involves understanding the company's value proposition, being able to speak at a business level, so that the connection happens. But there's a lot to that as well. So we unpack what that value proposition looks like, understand the customer's needs, pains, and gains, so that we're outward facing when we approach the clients, and we do the messaging as well. It involves the content strategy too. So what do we say to the market? Have we got brand ambassadors within the company that represent the brand and understand what that brand is? Because often that isn't the case. And we evolve the whole organization so that the branding is aligned with whatever touch points the company chooses to engage with the businesses.
Okay, we're going to take a break now. When we come back, I've got more questions for Caroline. Stay tuned.
MTN SME Hub, link to business success.